In this video, I'm gonna give you 5 more things that you should know about credit repair in 2022. Let's begin. The credit restoration process is about removing negative items from your credit profile. And in doing so, your credit score will fluctuate. Sometimes it'll go up, other times it'll go down, and there are very few instances where in doing so your score won't move at all. However, when you're looking to get your credit repaired, it's important to note that before you're able to get to a 680 credit score or higher, you're going to need to get your credit profile clean first. Otherwise, you getting that score of your dreams is not going to be possible. It's important for me to say this in this video because a lot of you are currently in the process of repairing your credit or getting your credit repaired by a company, and you're anxious, you're nervous, you're concerned because as negative items may be falling off, you may see that your score is fluctuating, sometimes going up and sometimes going down. So I'm here to let you know right now that this is perfectly normal and a part of the process, and you have absolutely nothing to be worried about. One thing you can do to aid during your credit restoration process or even after your credit restoration process is to add credit building accounts. So things like a self-lender, a kickoff, signing up with rent reporters, getting secured loans put on your credit report, and so much more. These are different things that you can do to where during and or after your profile is cleaned, these accounts will help to bolster your profile and start to improve and add to your positive payment history and your length of payment history as well. But ultimately, the biggest takeaway that I want you to have when it comes to this point is that your credit score does not matter. And the fact of the matter is that you can have a great credit score but a poor profile. However, if you focus first on cleaning, building, and restoring your credit profile, then naturally your credit score will follow. When I first got into the credit repair industry, every ebook, every course, and every mentorship that I either signed, paid, or joined all taught me that credit repair was the same exact thing, which was 609 letters and FTC reports. But from then up until now, I'm here to tell you that that is not the case. The 2 main ways that you can go about disputing negative items on your credit report are: number 1, by using consumer law. Consumer law is when you're using the laws that are in the FCRA, which is the Fair Credit Reporting Act, or the FDCPA, which is the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, and using these things to challenge the accuracy of negative items that are on your report. Or you can go about using Metro 2 compliance-based challenges. This is a form of disputing where essentially you're challenging the way that the information is being reported on your credit report by Metro 2 standards, and if it's not being reported the right way, by law, those items and accounts have to be removed. But if you're watching this and you have or are currently being taught that identity theft reports are a form of credit repair, I'm here to tell you that that's 100% wrong. Moreover, if you're using identity theft reports to remove any items from your report that aren't actually on there by way of your identity getting stolen, that is illegal.
You shout like that, they put you in jail right away.
If you're watching this and you have been using that method as the way to get your credit profile clean, I would please ask you to refrain from doing so for your own protection and safety, and instead go about restoring your credit the right way by using things like Metro 2 or consumer law based disputing. Moreover, if you're watching this video and you actually want me to do a video where I break down the differences and pros and cons between using Metro 2 versus using factual/consumer law based disputing, leave a comment in the section below and I'll make it happen. And also, if you enjoy content like this where I talk any and all things credit restoration related, hit that subscribe button so that you can stay tapped in for future videos to come. But back to this video. Now, this is a big one because a lot of people are actually under the misconception that if a credit account that they own goes into collections and that collections account ends up on their credit report, but they pay that collections account in full, that account is no longer negatively affecting their report. But I'm here to tell you that is 100% not true. One thing I want you all to remember is that a collections account is a negative account. So whether it is paid or unpaid, as long as it is on your profile, it will always negatively affect your report. Plus, depending on how you're going about disputing that collection, making payments on that collection may actually hurt your chances of getting it removed from your report. Reason number 1 is because anytime you make a payment on a collection account, you reset what is called a statute of limitations, which in short is basically the legal amount of time that a debt collector has to pursue you for this debt that you owe. And number 2, because depending on what route you're going to challenge this negative item on your report, if you're challenging the accuracy of that item, but you're making payments on it, the credit reporting agency is going to look at you and say, well, you're saying it's inaccurate, but you're making payments on it. One of these things is not like the other. It's a conflict of interest. You understand? If you do plan on making any payments towards this collections account, you want to get something that's called a pay for deletion agreement. This is basically when you get an agreement in writing from that collections agency that if you agree to pay either all or a portion of the debt, then they will agree to then remove that debt from showing on your credit report. But it's very important that you get this agreement from them in writing first, not just over the phone, not through an email, but in an actual physical letter. Otherwise, in the event that somewhere down the line, they remove that account or decide to put it back, you won't have any hard copy proof that you can use against them to get it removed again if need be. Now, this may come as a surprise to a lot of people because still to this very moment, the second highest viewed video on my channel was a video where I basically talked about how freezing your consumer report with the secondary credit reporting agencies can actually improve your chances of getting deletions with LexisNexis, Innovis, CoreLogic, ARS, and so many others. However, from then until now, I've done a ridiculous amount of research and experimentation when it comes to credit restoration process with freezing versus credit restoration process without freezing. And I'm here to tell you that if you're still on the fence about if you should freeze your secondaries versus if you shouldn't, don't be. You don't have to do it. Now, what you can do is you can take the same exact letters that you're sending to Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax and send those to the secondary credit reporting agencies, especially if you're disputing on a public record like a child support or a bankruptcy. The reason being is because these secondary credit reporting agencies are also responsible for furnishing data on your behalf. Now, that's not to say that they're connected to every negative account that's on your report, but that is to say that in the event that they may or may not be, it wouldn't hurt to also send a letter to them, because if it is, now you improve your chances of getting those items deleted. But ultimately, when it comes back to freezing your secondary credit reporting agencies, like I said, from my personal experience and experimentation, it's not a make or break thing. However, don't take my word for it. Experiment with it on your own, and maybe it's able to get you better results than it was for me. One common mistake that a lot of people make during the process of getting their credit repaired is actually adding trade lines to their credit report during the process. Now, to be clear, the exact definition of a trade line is simply just a line of credit. But in the context of what I'm talking about here, when I say trade line, I'm actually referring to you becoming an authorized user on someone else's credit card. And if you're not familiar with what that means, it simply just means that you piggyback off of somebody else's payment history and length of credit history to make your credit profile look better. So now, with that being cleared up, I want you guys to understand that a trade line is not meant to stay on your credit report forever. It's actually a type of strategy. Typically, you only get a trade line put on your report when you're getting ready to go into the process of applying for something like a house, a car, credit cards, and beyond. And then once the application process is finished, you then remove that trade line from your report. Now, while adding a trade line may boost your score, remember, it's not about your score. It's about cleaning your credit profile. And if you're still in the process of getting your credit repaired, that must mean that your profile isn't clean. Therefore, the last thing that you should be doing is trying to become an authorized user on someone else's credit card. It just doesn't make any sense. So with that being said, if you're looking to add trade lines, wait until the credit restoration process is finished before doing so. And even then, once the time comes for you to look for trade lines, you want to make sure that you're very strategical about doing so. So for example, if you're looking to get a trade line added to your credit report, never apply for a trade line with a bank that you have a previous negative history with. So for example, let's say you used to have a credit card with Chase, but that credit card ended up getting charged off. When it comes time for you to go and get a trade line added to your credit report, do not look for trade lines that are connected to Chase. The reason being is because even though that negative history will no longer show on your credit report, that bank will still be able to see within their data points and their AI that negative history. So when it comes time for you to add that card to your report, it may boost your score a couple of points, but it wouldn't optimize your score as much as you would like to because of said negative history. Instead, look for cards that are aged, have very large limits, but most importantly are not connected to banks that you once upon a time had negative history with, and you should be fine. But if you're watching this and you're in need of credit restoration, head over to my company's website at takeoffinancial.com and book a free consultation so that we can talk about how we can take your credit score to the moon. Hope you enjoyed this video. Subscribe for more. Peace.